What did Patrick Pichette, Google's Senior Vice President and CFO, say about Google's CPC revenue drop? First of all, I found it kind of interesting that there was any discussion whatsoever about Google's CPC revenue, and that they break that out from just general revenues. I found that very interesting. Actually, you could figure that market out pretty. You could build a model for sure if you went to the Google AdWords tool analyzer they have, where they tell you you will request keywords, and they'll tell you what the bid price is on those keywords. So you could pretty well figure out where their CPC model is. I think his comments were kind of interesting, and I'm getting my information from dmnews.com. In a story dated last Friday, Joanne Del Laura was the author of the story. Patrick's his opening statement was, given the recent trends in CPCs and clicks, the most important thing for you to understand is our business is healthy. We will certainly agree to that. And then when questioned why the CPC revenue was down, Patrick's response was, and I'm paraphrasing this, not a direct quotation, added that trends in CPC and clicks were due to a combination of several factors which cannot be isolated. He declined to get into specifics, but cited generally shifts in use cases for mobile, tablet, and desktop computing, trends in emerging and developed markets, and overall changes in ad quality. Certainly all factors in the equation. But he probably put in, well, certainly any skeptics were taken back by his statement that he saw mobile CPC as a major potential growth area. Of course, who doesn't see mobile and its potential power in terms of revenue growth? As a matter of fact, we know that someday we will have a mobile application from the community. We don't know when. We're studying the technology that is available, seeing if maybe we can develop it ourselves. Whatever, we will have some type of mobile presence, and I suppose at that point, CPC will certainly be back in everybody's graces. Yesterday, another story caught my attention. AOL offers guaranteed audience delivery for video campaigns. And actually it was not yesterday, it was Mondays. Once again, an article in DM News. Joanne Del Luna again wrote about AOL's guaranteed audience delivery. And as I was reading it, and here was an explanation from Charles Gabriel, VP of Sales at AOL Video. I'm kind of interested. AOL is a company that's gone back and forth over the years. I remember vividly, it was either, I don't remember the date vividly, but I remember the experience. It was either the Super Bowl of 1992, the Super Bowl of 93, it might have been 94, but I think 92, 93. A client of mine was a company in Columbus, Ohio called CompuServe. And CompuServe was, they were a major player back in the early days of CompuServe, but their popularity diminished with players like AOL, and today's players weren't even on the scene back in those days. I was asked to put together the customer care part of the campaign that CompuServe was going to run on Super Bowl. And not too many companies had ever, well, they wanted to run an 800 ad that would go into a telemarketing services phone bank. And that's projects I was putting together in those early 90s were customer care projects that had the telephone as a part of the tool to communicate. Those are the good old days. At any rate, the CEO of AOL, of CompuServe, his name is Bob, and I cannot remember his last name for the life of me, asked me to come into his office on the Friday before Super Bowl that year, and he was actually going to show me for the first time the ad that was going to run on Super Bowl, and then he had a couple questions for me because we were going to handle the customer care of that particular ad. He ran the ad. It was an out-and-out attack on AOL, and he had no call to action. Did have an 800 number, obviously, but no real call to action. And the 800 number was only flashed for a short period of time. The real question, being back in the early days, was would somebody during the halftime of the Super Bowl pick up a telephone to make an inquiry about something they just saw on television? That it was in the early days of that, and so that was certainly an answer. So Bob showed me the commercial, and he said, "Well, what do you think? How many calls do you think you're going to take on that?" And I very quickly said, "I would be very, very surprised if we took 1,000 phone calls. There's no call to action. The number's up there, short period of time. I'd be surprised. I'd be overwhelmed if you took 1,000. If we took 1,000 calls on it." Well, as I said, Super Bowl and running an 800 number, we know now that toll-free numbers work extremely well in Super Bowl ads. Ask the folks at GoDaddy. They've made very, very effective use of it. At any rate, on Sunday of Super Bowl and Monday, there was a big overflow on Monday. We took 10,000 phone calls from that ad that ran on television during the Super Bowl. And I called Bob up and said, I am just overwhelmed that many folks called to find out. So it was your message was a pretty strong message. They weren't motivated to really buy anything or whatever. And less than 30 days after that phone conversation I had with him, AOL bought CompuServe, and he was out of a job. So this was really the whole thing was an exercise in his fond farewell to CompuServe, and then AOL bought them. It was a real interesting campaign. But AOL has struggled. As Steve Case in the early years did a wonderful job, and I was never really much of an AOL user myself, so I can't tell you what their challenges were. Today they are certainly, I've been reading their name an awful lot so in the last 2 years, so things are happening there, and they're offering a good product. They're offering a good product, no question, when they can offer a measured, guaranteed audience delivery video. However, it's great that they can deliver that, and technology allows them to make that guarantee. The challenge is, will people respond? It doesn't matter that you've guaranteed delivery. Do people actually respond to it? Back to the concept of pay-per-click, because pay-per-click is a performance directed project. When something has to happen before somebody gets paid. It's a direct marketing concept made popular by technology. So I got to thinking about Google's comment about pay-per-click and why the revenue, or CPC, cost per click, why the revenue had dropped, and with AOL's position that they will guarantee video delivery. I said our community, David's Barter community, will test a video pay per click product service, and we're going to call it a YouTube endorsed pay per click. And for the first 25 folks who will have a personal conversation with me about their concept of why their pay per click would even be of value, why their click would be of value to folks in our community who are starting a business, who are growing an existing business oriented. Why would people want to click? Value proposition. And we'll make a video. We'll make a YouTube video about that, and then we'll put it on a landing page in the community, or we'll put it at your server. It doesn't matter. We'll link to either a landing page in our community or directly in yours. In our community, you have the chance to take advantage of other technologies available. So we will tell you further about our YouTube endorsed pay-per-click page, landing page, where only 25 folks will be able to have their very best small business offer something, a tool to help folks who want to start a business and folks who are growing their business.